Well, that notion of the seed crystals that people call a prophet someone who drops a seed crystal into a supersaturated solution. But it's the supersaturated solution that really makes the difference. There's several lines in Torah that talk about God. Yud Hey Vav Hey, the breath of life, the name that can only be pronounced just by breathing, lifting an outstretched arm. And when I ask people what their imagining is of the outstretched arm, many of them say it must be like this. But Zeroa is related to the root of seed, the seed crystals. God freed the breath of life, freed ancient god wrestlers from tyranny and slavery in Egypt by making the people seed for the earth. And here we are in the last day of Sukkot, the festival of fruit, of luscious, colorful, expansive fruit. And we're only less now than 24 hours from the festival that follows the festival of fruit, Shmini Atzeret, an 8th day of inward boundary, the festival of seed. The seed that is almost invisible, that goes into the earth and becomes invisible. The seed, you would think, had disappeared and died. But the seed, we know, is the bearer of life for the next generation. Rabbi Jeff Roth teaches that Torah, the Bible, is so focused on 40 because 40 is the real timing of a human pregnancy, 40 weeks, more accurate than 9 months. The seed that grows, it's not male, it's not female, it's both and beyond the binary, that seed. So we are moving just as we move from Sukkot to the festival of fruit to Shmini Atzeret, the festival of seed. We are moving from 40 years of a pregnancy to create a fuller life. There was life in this 40 years. We've seen and heard much of it. And we've also seen and heard the glimmers of perhaps the glimmers of the growth of seed into a new generation. I welcome that new generation, and I welcome all of you who have gathered here to become the seed of that new generation. The seed needs prophetic visioning. The seed needs organizing people who love each other, work together because they love each other and because they love the breath of life. The seed requires even the actuality, the factuality of money. And many of you have already contributed to that seed as you came to FortyFest. But we've only begun. And the goals we set have been matched for now with the goals we've set for what we needed to raise in money as well as in emotion and intellect and spirit for the beginning. But it's only a beginning. We hope you will join in all those levels. The level of prophetic vision, the level of prophetic organizing. There's a reason that it's called organizing. It's because we join like an organ of love and connection with each other. The level of emotion and the level of knowledge, of wisdom, of learning from experience how to move ahead, and the level of actuality, which includes the level of money. So I hope all of us who have gathered, and the people, to quote Moses on Mount Sinai, the people who haven't gathered right here, right now, but who gather in their hopes, in their visions, in their commitment to each other, in their effort to make it real. The prophetic transformation of not only Judaism, but the world depends on all of us. We face the greatest crisis in human history, the greatest crisis in American democracy since at least the Civil War, the greatest attempt in American history to establish an authoritarian, a fascist government. And we face our own truths. The scientists are beginning not to turn the world into chop, 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 but into this. That's what ecology is. Are beginning to hear the speaking of trees and the speaking of whales. Time for us to make the transformation into a new generation. Blessings for all who are making that transformation.
Main and
Rabbi.
main. Thank you so much, Reb Arthur. The way that we're going to close out this program tonight is with a couple more steps. I know we're a bit past the time, but for a 2.5 hour program, we're not doing so bad. We're going to do a ritual together. Then I'm going to have the opportunity to bless Arthur. He's going to have the opportunity to bless me. That will lead right into our final shofar blast of the night, our Tikya Gedolah, and we will close with music. I feel so full of spirit, so many seeds that have been planted tonight, so much that has begun to take root already. One of the profound pieces of Sukkot in this season that we're in is that there is an embodiment of the spirit. We build sukkahs, we shake lulavs and etrogs, we bring it into our body. And so that's what we're going to do right now. I want to invite you to consider and touch and sense all of the seeds that you experienced tonight, that you experienced being planted, all of the moments that touched you, the words that touched you, the emotions that landed for you tonight. And as our tradition invites us to do, we'll take our hands and we'll shake them in the 7 directions, in all of the different directions. And each time the invitation is to bring the shake back into the heart, back into the spirit, and bring all of those seeds that were gathered and planted tonight back in. And then at the end of the 7 shakes, you're invited to shake it all out completely and release anything that's blocking you from keeping what is dear close, to allow as the willow leaves shake off at Hoshana Rabbah, leaving anything you wish behind. 7 shakes, bringing back into the spirit and the heart the seeds, and then the full shake after that. After we do that, the blessings. And the shake of the willow branches and the leaves flying everywhere. Allowing ourselves to really integrate as much as possible all that has been experienced tonight. Reb Arthur, there are 2 primary symbols of Sukkot and of this holiday that I want to bless you with. One is the lulav and etrog, these species, the 4 species that create this magic wand that are said to be a kind of channel between the physical realm and the spirit realm, between the earth and the heavens, between, as Koach said, Olam Hazeh, this world, and Olam Haba, the next world. For your entire life, you've been straddling those worlds. You've been the lulav and etrog, spanning and bridging this world and the next. And I want to bless you that you continue to do that you continue to shake vigorously that channel, helping us all come in closer contact to the world as it can be. I also want to bless you with the ease and the rest and the peace of the sukkah, of dwelling in the sukkah, of taking a load off, of hanging out in God's clubhouse, as Rabbi Nehemiah Poland describes the sukkah, of getting to enjoy the fruits of your labor for all of these years, that you may, in this new decade, both be the lulav and the etrog spanning this world and the next, and get to enjoy the rickety joy of the sukkah dwelling, in which you get to relax.
And Nate, Rabbi Nate, I've heard tonight praise for me for one thing in the Shalom Center history that I didn't really do, which was creating this moment. You led the committee. It wasn't you alone, but you led it, talked it through, thought it through, worked it through, organized it through. So I bless you that this is only the first of the creations of the new Shalom Center 2.0, that you gather seeds the seeds that transform what I think is a supersaturated solution, desperate for change, desperate, despairing, and hopeful for change. And that the seeds you scatter into the world with the outstretched arm, that those seeds take root, sprout, grow into life-giving trees and many other species that the earth is formed by, and that you take pleasure and beyond pleasure, that you take joy and are able to feel the joy of having seeded the next 40 years of the Shalom Center. Ken Yehi Ratzon,
Amen, amen.
may the Holy One who is the breath of life be filling you with that breath as you lift the arm, the outstretched arm of sowing seed.
Thank you, Arthur. Amen, amen.